action on a vector field. In this exercise, I will explain how we can move a vector field. So by moving, I mean translate, rotate, or whatever. A vector field through a transformation we call a diffeomorphism. And this diffeomorphism is called the action. I will first explain why it is important in a robotics context. So I assume first that I have a robot here, for instance, and I want this robot follow this vector field. So if it follows this vector field, I know that it will converge to this ellipse. How to, so this ellipse has, for instance, a center, a major radius r, a minor radius r. So I know that I am able to have a controller that is able to follow a vector field, but now I have to build it. So of course I want the robot converge to an ellipsoid, but how can I get an analytical expression of the vector field that will guide my robot in the right direction? So here I will explain. I remove this. I have my robot, which is described by a state equation. Let's say x dot equal f of x in u. X is the state of my robot, which is of dimension, let's say 5 or whatever. But I can extract here the position of the robot, say x1, x2. Oh, if I enter in this box, which corresponds to the behavior I want for my robot. So it means that if I am here, I want my robot follow the arrows. So this corresponds to x1, x2. So if I know the direction I want to follow, I will enter this direction here, this direction here. I will enter in the controller. That will compute the input u, so the value I have to give to the actuators, that can be propellers or any motors, so that my robot will follow this vector field, so it will move along this ellipsoid. I have a state equation which corresponds to the vector field I want to follow in dimension 2 here. A diffeomorphism, so a transformation. So what is exactly a diffeomorphism? Is a function from Rn to Rn that is smooth, so I can compute the derivatives, and it is invertible, but also the inverse is smooth also, so can be is differentiable also. So it corresponds for us to a transformation such as a rotation or a translation. So I want to move this vector field. So I define the action which corresponds to the transformation of this vector field as follows. And I will explain why when I will answer this question. So I want to show that if I transform x into y by some kind of change of coordinates, then y dot will satisfy a state equation which can be obtained by f and j through this transformation given here, which corresponds to the action by j on f. So here I have x1, x2, and here a vector field which corresponds to the vector field f. If here I will have a transformation, and I move from the coordinate x1, x2 into y1, y2 via j the action. So now I want to know how this vector field will transform here. So if I have here x with x1, x2 here, then I will have y, which corresponds to j of x as defined here. Now if I have an arrow here, I would like to know how to compute the corresponding arrow here. So of course it is defined by this, but now I want to prove it. So I have a trajectory here corresponding to the solution of my differential equation x dot equal f of x. So after a small amount of time, I will have here x of t, here y of t, and dt later, I will have dx. So this corresponds, this displacement corresponds to dx, and this point here corresponds to x of t plus dt. Okay, so here y will also move, will also satisfy a differential equation, and it will move like this, and I will have here x of t plus dt. It will follow the arrow represented here, and the corresponding displacement can be called dy. Okay, so I would like to write what y of t plus dt, so this point, and I want to know plus dt, and I will compute it. So I will have this one correspond to f of x of t plus dx. So it is the image by j of this point. So it corresponds to f of x. So it's plus dj divided on dx. So there is a Jacobian matrix of j, but at the point x of t multiplied by dx. It is also equal to f of x plus again this one multiplied by, so dx will correspond to dt multiplied by f of x, because the displacement dx is obeys to the state equation. Now this one corresponds to y of t. The dt, which is here, I will put it here. X, which is here, so I want only y. X of t corresponds to g minus y of y of t. And here also, it corresponds to g minus y of y. So I can write that this equal to y of t plus dt multiplied by dj at point g minus 1 of y multiplied by f of g minus y of y. And it corresponds to what I need to prove, plus dt multiplied by j, so the action operator denoted by this big point at point y. So it means that if I come back here, that y dot obeys to this state equation, where the evolution function corresponds to the action of j on f. Question number 2. I consider a system in polar coordinates, given here, and I have to study the behavior of this state equation and the stability of the system. So it's first clear that theta dot equal to 1, this one is easy. So it means that theta will increase forever. It will correspond to time. And this one is a little bit more difficult, so we'll study it. So we have to think in a polar coordinates, theta and r. So I will study here the state equation, so this equation, minus r multiplied by r squared minus 1. If I take this function, and if I draw it, I observe that I have 3 roots. One corresponding to 0, one corresponding to 1, one corresponding to minus 1. So it is a polynomial, and this polynomial here will converge to something negative. So I will have something like this. Okay. And r dot is correspond to this function. So it means that if r is here, then this function is positive, then I will move to the right. If I'm here, this function is negative, so I will move to the left. So I can understand with this example that r will converge to 1. I don't have to take this into account because in a polar coordinate r should be positive. So what I can say here is that if r belongs to 0, 1, then I move to the right. If r belongs to 1, infinity, I will move to the left. So r will converge to 1, and what I can understand from here, since theta will increase, recall that theta dot equal to 1, then I can understand that I will converge to this disk. So it means that I can understand that theta will move like this and I will converge to this. So to prove this, so the proof is not here clearly established, But to prove this, I need to use the Lyapunov method, Lyapunov theory. So to do this, I build some kind of distance to 1, which corresponds to my Lyapunov function. So I call it V of r, which corresponds to the distance to 1 squared. It is this one. So I will show that V will decrease. This distance will decrease, except when I am here, where this distance will not decrease anymore. So to do this, I compute V dot, so it is the Lyapunov method. V dot corresponds to 2 r minus 1 multiplied by r dot. It is equal to 2 minus 1, so I will have here r squared minus 1 with a minus here, so I put in front, which also corresponds to minus 2 square multiplied by r plus 1. So this is positive because I'm here on the right, except when I am here, of course. This one is also positive. Okay. This one is also positive. So in fact, I know that this one is always negative, except if r equal to 0, because V dot is equal to 0, or r equal to 1, so if I am here. So it means that if I start at 0, I will not move, I will not go to 1, and otherwise the distance to 1 will decrease. So from the Lyapunov theory, I know that I will always converge to 1 if I start from everywhere except on 0. Question number 3. I define the Cartesian vector x, which corresponds to r theta in the Cartesian space. And now I want to show that if in the new coordinates or Cartesian coordinates, I obtain the state equation x dot equal to this expression. And I have to draw also the corresponding vector field. So I recall that I have the definition of the action here. I have also the state equation in the r theta space, and I have the transformation J, which transform into polar to Cartesian coordinates. So I can see the thing as follows. I have r theta. I have J, which is a diffeomorphism, so it is smooth, but it is also invertible by J minus 1. Okay, so I can go from one direction or another. And here I am in the x1, x2 space. So I have an expression of the vector field here due to this. And I want now to compute the expression of the vector field in the Cartesian coordinates. So I will define P, which corresponds to r theta for simplicity. So here it is P1, here this one P theta corresponds to P2, and J, this expression, so I will have a state equation as follows: x dot equal, so the expression here, I will call it h of p, where h is given by this function. Then I will use this expression, but I will replace f by h. Okay. Here, the derivative is not corresponding to x, but now with respect to p. Okay, so it's not x anymore. Now I will apply this formula. So I need to compute the derivative of j with respect to p, the Jacobian matrix, and I will obtain cos theta cos theta, so I take this expression, I derive first with respect to r, the first variable, or p1 if you prefer, and sine theta because of this. Now I will compute the derivative with respect to theta, and I will obtain minus r sine theta, and here r cos theta. Okay. Now this one, so j action h of x, so it will not be yes, here I will x is here, it's not the y I had in the expression before, but here it is corresponds to x here, that's why I put x here, and I will apply this formula. So I will obtain the derivative of j with respect to p, but I will apply it to g minus 1 of x. So here I will have of x, and here also of x. So when I come back here, I will have the inverse of this expression, which give me the angle, so I represent here theta, and here r, if I have here x1, x2. So I will obtain the cos corresponds to x1 divided by the hypotenuse. So x1 square plus x2 square. Here sine theta, it will correspond to x2 divided by the root, the same. And here, due to the fact that it is multiplied by r, I will obtain minus x2 x1. And here it is multiplied by, so h composed by g minus 1 of x, it will correspond to minus, so still here x1 square plus x2 square, here also x1 square plus x2 square, multiply by x1 square plus x2 square minus 1, and here 1. If I compute the multiplication, I will get some simplification, and I will obtain minus x1 power 3 minus x1 x2 square plus x1 minus x2 and minus x2 square minus x1 square x2 plus x1 plus x2. So it means that x1 dot x2 dot satisfy this state equation So now why it is interesting? Because I am in a Cartesian plane, so I will be able to draw the vector field and to give some interpretation. To draw the vector field, I will use Python. So I will use roblib. I will define the function f corresponding to the field I want to paint. So it corresponds to this function already obtained. I define my bounds here to initialize my figure. Here's the step. I use the mesh grid statement to build my matrices x1, x2. I will use the function f to build all evolution corresponding to each point of the grid. I use here a normalizing factor to avoid having some larger rows and smaller rows. And then I use Quiver. Okay. Then after I will draw a solution. So I will start at x equal to 0, 5, 0. So here. And I will see that I will converge to the disk corresponding to the limit cycle. So for this I use a Euler integration method here. I start the program and I obtain here the trajectory and also the vector field. In question number 4, I consider the specific case where J is linear and given by the matrix A. And I want to show that the action of J on F has this expression. So I remember the definition of the action here, and I recall that J of x equal to A multiplied by x, where A is a 2-2 matrix here. It will be used later to move this vector field corresponding to a limit cycle which is a circle. So to move this vector field into another vector field where the limit cycle will be an ellipse. So it will be in question number 5. Here we are in question number 4. So in this case, we have J action F equal to, so here I will have dj divided by dx composed by g minus y of x. So here of x. This will correspond to a matrix, and I will multiply, so here it's a multiplication, multiply by f composed, so composed by g minus y minus 1 of x. So this one corresponds to the Jacobian matrix corresponds to A, which is composed by this one. So in fact, all this, it will not depend on x, and all this will correspond to A. And again, g minus 1 of x will correspond to a minus 1 of x. So I will obtain here a multiplied by f, so the f which is here, of a minus 1 multiplied by x. So it shows here that if I have a vector field which is spec by f, if I want to rotate or to zoom or any linear transformation, I obtain the expression of what I could call f a of x directly by this formula. Question number 5. From the previous question, I have to find a vector field, the expression of a vector field, with a limit cycle corresponding to an ellipse. This ellipse has a major radius of 2, a minor radius of 1. It should be clockwise stable and not counterclockwise as the previous case. And also I want an inclination of this angle. And also I have to draw the corresponding vector field. So that's what I will do. Of course, I will use this formula because everything corresponds to linear transformations. So the vector field that will be moved via actions is represented here. So this one turns counterclockwise, but now I want it to turn on the other direction. So to change the orientation, probably the first thing that can be done is to build a symmetry with respect to, let's say, this axis. If I do this symmetry, then I will obtain the same kind of vector field, but the orientation will change. So let's say I will use first a matrix S given by an axial symmetry 1, minus 1, 0, 0. Then I want this one so this circle which has a radius equal to 1, I want it to have this shape. So a radius here corresponding to 2, and I will have an ellipse like this. Okay, with a minor axis equal to 1 and major axis equal to 2. So for this, I will have to have a diagonal transformation corresponding to 2, 1, 0, 0. And now I want to change the orientation. So I will turn all the vector field like this, and I will obtain something, whoops, not so easy to draw, like this. So I will have an inclination of p divided by 4. And this corresponds to a rotation matrix equal to cos alpha minus sin alpha, so rotation matrix, with alpha equal p divided by 4. So the matrix A of the transformation will correspond to, so S multiplied by D multiplied by R, and I will use the formula that I have obtained. I recall it. Fa of x equal to a f of a minus 1 x. To draw the vector field, I keep the initial function f, with a circle as the limit cycle. I take this expression and I will build my function fa of x as previously explained, which is given here. So first, this one is called b, computed here, and I compute from x, x1, x2, this one. I compute this, and this corresponds here to what is called y. Then I compute f. I call it z. Z is given here. Then all this is called v, and it is returned by the function. Okay. So I have fa of x. So I can now transform or provide an action on f by any matrix A. I have here three matrices: S corresponding to the symmetry, D corresponding to the deformation to give the right dimensions for the ellipse, and here the rotation. Here I build the matrix corresponding to the symmetry followed by the diagonal matrix followed by the rotation, and then I will draw here the vector field. I go with Python. To draw the vector field, I will first probably draw here I will put f only first. Just to show that I have my the initial field. So it is the case here, without any action. And here I will take as A the symmetry only. And I will see that it changes the orientation. So now we can see that the vector field rotates clockwise, not as previously. So now I will multiply by d, like this, and I will have the correct dimensions. Here, the major axis corresponding to 2, and minor axis corresponding to 1. And now I will give the orientation by using the rotation matrix. Which is given here. We can see also the limit cycle corresponding to the right ellipse